From Arlington, Texas, it's the M&G Bank College Baseball Series presented by Kubota. We start day 2 with a matchup between the Big 10 and the Big 12 as the Ohio State Buckeyes face off against the Baylor Bears. Both the Bears and Buckeyes are looking to bounce back from losses yesterday, and what this should be an intriguing matchup in what is the first ever meeting between these two programs. Welcome to Globe Life Field alongside Ty Harrington. I'm Brain Freeman. Nothing like a new day in baseball, Ty, after suffering a loss the day before. Let's start with Baylor. The Bears ran into Oregon State. Tough loss for Baylor, and the Beavers yesterday just some really good pitching and defense against Baylor.
Yeah, they ran up against a buzzsaw. I mean, Oregon State was so good last night, and I thought Baylor competed well. They were right there one swing away from an opportunity to beat a really good baseball team.
As for Ohio State, how do the Buckeyes bounce back after a tough run rule loss to Auburn?
Well, baseball is one of those things, you learn something from the moment, but then you got to be able to move past it and move to the next day, or it'll catch you again.
The Buckeyes will be batting first here today. Now we'll look at the batting order for Ohio State, presented by M&G Bank. Here's the lineup 1 through 9 for the Buckeyes. Trey Lipsy leads off for Ohio State, followed by Lee Ellis and Tyler Petterini. Middle third of the order for Ohio State, Matthew Gravelin, Mason Eckelman, Mark Stevens. The bottom third for Ohio State, Reggie Bussey, Nick Jamarusti, and Maddox Simpson. This lineup held scoreless yesterday against Auburn, just 2 hits against the Tigers in a 13-0 run rule loss here at Globe Life Field. The pitcher today for the Baylor Bears is Bryson Bales, 6'3", 227-pound left-hander from Round Rock, Texas. In his first year with this Baylor program, impressive numbers, tied 13 strikeouts in 8 innings so far.
Yeah, look, a grad transfer that Baylor discovered late in the summer, middle of the summer, and he's been really good for them. It's a fastball, slider, changeup, a little bit different arm action, but good stuff.
Taking a look at his defense here this afternoon, Wesley Jordan in left, Ty Johnson in center, Enzo Apodaca in right field for Baylor. Infield defense for the Bears, Hunter Duplansky at third, Tyree Kemp at short, Pearson Reebok, Jack Little on the right side of the infield defense, and J.J. Kennett is the catcher for Baylor. The head coach for the Bears in his 3rd season, Mitch Thompson. His team looking to pick up his first win in Arlington this weekend as they get ready to take on Ohio State. The Bears will close things out tomorrow against the Auburn Tigers. The head coach for the Buckeyes in his 1st season, Justin Hare. Previously 10 years at Campbell, 17 seasons overall with that Campbell program, one of the top mid-majors in the country during his time.
A young man is full of energy, a good coach, a good communicator. I'll tell you what, we'll see a different Ohio State approach today and team today.
Trey Lipsy into the box for the Buckeyes to lead things off, facing Bryson Bales. First pitch swinging. Ground ball fielded by Reebok. Throw to first base, not in time. And Lipsy beats out an infield single to start the game.
What a great pitch, and a strategically placed ball hit off his knuckles, basically. That ball was running in on him, and it wasn't hit hard enough to get to the second baseman in the air. And then he had to take a step back to try to field it, and he does. He beats it out.
So Lipsy is on to start the game for the Buckeyes. Reached twice against Auburn yesterday. That'll bring up Lee Ellis, who was 1 for 2 with a strikeout against the Tigers in yesterday's loss. Lipsy and Ellis, the only 2 hits against Auburn yesterday.
Definitely an aggressive approach. 2 pitches, 2 swings. Again, sometimes when you're trying to pick up a win, as a coach, you remind your hitters, let's be aggressive today. Let's set a tone today offensively. Let's get up there. He's going to throw strikes. He's only walked 2, in the 3 in the 8 innings that he's pitched. Let's get in and let's get our hitting shoes on.
Outside to Ellis in the breaking ball, runs the count to 2-1. This is the 3rd start of the year for Bales. Has gone exactly 4 innings in each of his first 2 starts against Youngstown State and Gonzaga. Fastball to misses low to even the count at 2-2. The Buckeyes offensively as a team coming into the tournament 12th in the Big Ten in batting at .257. 10th in the conference in runs scored. And again, they've been up against some stiff competition so far this season. (3-1). That ball hit towards center field, right to Ty Johnson. That's good for the first out of the game.
Crazy game. First guy hits one off the knuckles. Doesn't even have enough to get to the second baseman, and he gets a base hit. Next guy lands on one, smokes a ball right to the center fielder for an out. But part of the game's what makes this game different than others.
Brings up Tyler Petterini for Ohio State. Man on and one out. Buckeyes open the year with a 3-game series against Arizona State. Then they played in the Jacksonville College Baseball Classic. Beat 13th ranked NC State. Dropped games against Coastal Carolina and Alabama. And playing 3 fellow Power 4 teams this weekend in Arlington. Stacked schedule to start the tenure for Justin Hare, as that pitch is fouled away for strike 1.
And yeah, and you can see right off, just, you know, from Bales, that fastball's hard to pick up for the left-handed hitters. That's 2 swings, leadoff hitter. And now Petterini, that ball got on top of their hands and got on them. So just, they're having a hard time early picking up his fastball.
You look at the recap for the Buckeyes through the first 2 weeks of the year. They've had trouble holding on to leads. They have held leads in the 7th inning or later for their 6 losses this season. 1-2. Slider that misses away. Petterini, the senior from Wooster, Ohio, batting 3rd of the order for the Buckeyes for a 2nd straight day. Had a 5-game hitting streak snap last night against Auburn. The 2-2. Heart of the plate, fastball's in there for strike 3.
I'll tell you what, he back-to-back sliders, 2 pitches before. Now he comes back with his fastball, executes a really nice outer half fastball away to the left-handed hitter Petterini, and gets him looking.
Now the Buckeyes catcher, Matthew Gravelin from Centerville, Ohio. Takes a first pitch strike. Was a .281 hitter a year ago for Ohio State. In a sophomore campaign, did 5 homers, drove in 25. Batting cleanup this afternoon for head coach Justin Hare. Had a tough day at the plate yesterday against Auburn, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Skies one to center. Ty Johnson, just shy of the warning track, makes the catch. And Bryson Bales works around a leadoff single from Trey Lipsy. We head to the bottom of the 1st inning. Baylor coming to bat for the first time. We're back after this on Flow College.
Possibility. At Shriners Children's, we deliver healing to kids with critical burn injuries, like game-changing advances in regenerative medicine and creating the highest standard of care. We never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs, proving time and again what's possible by empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Possible Missions and their dedicated Amegy business banker work together to put the us in business banking by sharing the same values both in the office and out in the community. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amegy business banker with banking experience in your industry, because you're more than a customer. We're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, by being a true community partner. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
A look at the batting order for the Bears. The lineup presented by Amegy Bank. Leading off for Baylor, Jack Little, then Enzo Apodaca. Wesley Jordan, who homered yesterday for Baylor, batting third of the order. Hunter Simmons, the DH, batting cleanup. Pearson Reebok had a home run robbed last night by Easton Talt, bats fifth. Ty Johnson, sixth in the order for Baylor. Bottom third of the order for the Bears, Hunter Toplansky, J.J. Kennett, and Tyree Kemp. And the pitcher they're facing today is sophomore right-hander Chase Harrell from Milford, Ohio. 6'2", 215 pounds, and making his third start of the season. He was excellent last week against Coastal Carolina. Just one earned run given up in 6 innings, and he struck out 9.
Well, the numbers speak for themselves and his talent. You go in there and that 12 innings pitched, ERA sub-4 at 3.75, and 13 punch-outs and 12, which is a strikeout an inning, which is what you want out of your pitchers if you can. And then, as importantly sometimes as that, Brent, is the 2 walks.
There's the
hitting
defense.
only 205.
There's the defense for the Buckeyes. Jamarusti, Bussey, and Lipsy in the outfield for Ohio State. Mark Stevens, Lee Ellis, left side of the infield defense. Petterini and Simpson on the rights. And Gravelin is the starting catcher today for Ohio State. Eckelman started at catcher yesterday against Auburn. Jack Little batting leadoff here for the Bears. Finished 1 for 3 last night against Oregon State with an RBI single. It was a 4-3 loss for Baylor against 9th-ranked Oregon State. First time the Bears have played a ranked opponent this year. And we said at the top, the pitching for the Beavers was really good, especially the bullpen. Baylor could not do anything against closer Matthew Morrell. Got a 2-inning save and retired all 6 batters he faced.
Well, there's no good losses, right? But there's competitive losses. And I thought Baylor last night, they were 1 swing away. Again, the home run, who knows, right? What happens when the right fielder makes one of the best catches I've seen in quite some time, by the way. And, it could have been a different game, but I thought it was a great baseball. I thought it was a tremendous baseball game. 2 really good baseball teams.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Threw him a cut fastball. First strikeout for Harrell, and 1 down here in the bottom of the first.
We get our first sneak peek. They're calling that a slider, a cutter. That's a slider. That's a down. The ball's got nice right to left and vertical down action to it. That to me is an old school slider, and at 85 miles an hour.
Brings up Enzo Apodaca. First pitch swinging and lines it foul. Apodaca had a hit last night. Now an 8-game hitting streak for the Bears. Swings this pitch, grounds it to second. Handled by Petterini. Over to Simpson at first base. 2 up and 2 down for Harrell. Here at the bottom of the first, that'll bring up Wesley Jordan, who last night Ty went deep to the upper deck.
Yeah, he got busy on that swing, and he hit that ball at a long ways, as you see it right there in the upper deck. You start hitting upper deck homers, you've got real power. That's not fake power.
Swings and misses the first pitch here on the breaking ball from Harrell. Wesley Jordan now a team leading 12 runs batted in. The homer is second of the season. At one point had a 38-game on-base streak, got snapped earlier this season, the second longest streak at Baylor, dating back to 2003. Swings and drives this one out to left. Jamarusti. Is there room? No, runs out of it. It's a long strike and runs the count to 1-2.
You know, in BP, these guys have got to do a really good job. Batting practice. The outfielders have got to do a great job. Brad, they're not used to playing with the stand so close to the foul poles and to the foul lines. You know, most of the college fields have some separation. And so they've got to do a good job during BP to go find out just how much space they have and run over and try to catch as many balls as they can on that line so that they don't plow into the fence and or shy away from the fence. So you get a look at them, and that's 2 steps. If you're running full speed, that's 2 steps for you as a defender once you hit that white line before you run into the wall.
Hunter Simmons awaits on deck for Baylor. 2-2 pitch. Got him looking. Strike 3 in the breaking ball. Jordan doesn't agree. As we go to the second, a couple of strikeouts for Harold in the inning. Scoreless here from Arlington. We're back after this.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Elevate your ballpark experience with a tour of Globe Life Field and experience the home of the Texas Rangers like never before. Go behind the scenes and explore premium spaces, unique club settings, luxury suites, and more. Along the way, you'll discover rich history, impressive architecture, and fun photo opportunities around every corner. Globe Life Field's many tour offerings are sure to take your ballpark visit to the next level. For more information and to book your experience, visit globelifefield.com.
Talking more about the Buckeyes program. They played their first season of baseball back in 1881. In fact, baseball was the first ever organized sport at Ohio State. They've been to the College World Series 4 times, but the last trip a long time ago, back in 1967, they were the 1966 national champions. 15-time Big Ten champions, Ohio State's. They've been to the NCAA tournament 22 times in team history. Last trip came back in 2019. They've had their share of major leaguers as well throughout the years. Notable, Nick Swisher played at Ohio State. And in fact, the Buckeyes field now has his namesake.
I would love to see some photo. I don't know if they would have them. Just what did college baseball at Ohio State look like in 1881? I mean, you got honest to goodness. I love this game as much as any other thing other than my family, and just to be able to historically see what that would look like if there was any, type of photos. Or I can promise you, it doesn't look like it does today. That's right. For sure. Playing in an indoor arena or baseball facility, and everywhere you look, there's a velocity and high-tech equipment, bats, gloves. It's the most advanced, obviously, that it's ever been.
And the most popular the game has ever been as well.
Yeah, in 1881, what do umpires wear? I mean, they weren't calling them blue then, right? Because they all wore blue, I wouldn't think. And I got a lot of questions.
Yes.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I got a lot of questions. And I'm going to do some research tonight.
Full count to Eckelman. And takes the fastball off the plate. Leadoff man is off for the Buckeyes for the second straight inning. Here's a look at Ohio State's team back in 1890. 1897, in fact. There you go, Ty.
Look at that. That is. Look at the uniforms, and we got one's got a different uniform than everybody else at the top. And another guy dressed in a suit. That is unreal. And the gloves, look how small the gloves are.
Yep.
That's awesome work by our camera people too, by the way. The production group. Still have questions, but some are answered.
There you go. Ask and ye shall receive.
Yep.
Ty.
Flo College, that's the truth.
Mark Stevens batting now for the Buckeyes. Swings to this pitch. Out to Ty Johnson in center. And has it for the first out. Stevens now 1 for his last 22 at the plate. He's retired, and that'll bring up Reggie Bussing.
First changeup we've seen from Bales. It's been fastball, slider. First time he goes in there and throws a changeup. Nice rotation to it. Got Stevens out in front of it. Popped it up to center.
Bussey batting now. Failed to reach base for the first time all season. In yesterday's game against Auburn, only had one at-bat before head coach Justin Hare started emptying the bench. In the air to right, there's Apodaca. Comes in a few steps. 2 outs in the inning.
Well, since a leadoff walk, it's been from Bales, it's been attack the zone, following up after the walk. Aggressive-minded Ohio State hitters right now, too. Change up to Stevens, and now a two-seamer to Bussey, and 2 quick outs.
Here's Jamarusi now for the Buckeyes. Player that began his career in the ACC at Pitt before going the JUCO route to John Logan College. Now his second year in Columbus. In his first year a year ago, hit .287. Strike call in the inner half. Evens a count at 1-1.
God, that's a tough pitch. I mean, as a hitter, you got to just blink on that one and move to the next one, hoping that doesn't come across on a 2-strike pitch. That's right at the kneecaps, boring in on the right-handed hitter. Tough pitch to hit.
Swing and a miss. Came back with a changeup.
Productive sequence so far. Right off that fastball we were just talking about that was tough. Comes back for the third changeup he's thrown this game. He split the plate, got him out in front.
And back-to-back changeups thrown by Bales. One-two pitch, shot into the glove of Toplansky. Great play at third base, and that's going to end the inning. Leadoff walk for the Buckeyes, but no damage done in the top of the second. Baylor coming back to the plates. Momentarily here in Arlington. After a great play by Toplansky at third, we go to the bottom of the second, still scoreless here at Globe Life Field at Arlington.
First, at Shriners Children's, the world's most advanced scoliosis procedures are born here. In fact, we deliver access to the world's best doctors for nearly every pediatric orthopedic condition. We're delivering care without compromise is our promise. And kids can just be kids. Because being first always starts with empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
There's an old saying, everything's bigger in Texas. Well, let's just say IndyCar is about to go to a whole nother level. Get ready, Arlington. This is where history is made, and champions are born.
Time now for a coach's interview presented by Amity Bank. We're joined by Buckeyes head coach Justin Hare. And coach, we saw a strong inning from Chase Harrell in the first. A couple of strikeouts, had 9 punch-outs in his start last week. What have you seen from Harrell in the early stages of the season?
Yeah, just super competitor. You know, he's got enough stuff. You know, he can mix and match it, throw, you know, equalize some counts because he can mix speeds and change speeds in different counts. And on top of that, just a great competitor and a great teammate. And yeah, definitely a leader for us on the bump.
Coach, I know you guys aren't off to the start that you won't win loss-wise. And with a new team and coming off of yesterday's game, what do you tell your club after yesterday's game?
Yeah, you just tell them, like, hey, man, like, we got our butts beat yesterday, and yesterday doesn't have to determine what today, you know, holds for us. And you know, so, you know, we just try to show up to the ballpark every single day like it's opening day and get an opportunity to come out and put on the uniform and go play to the best of our ability. Yesterday we didn't play that great, and it definitely didn't go our way. We've got some lessons to learn from that, and none of that has to determine how we play today.
Coach, this is your first season with this Buckeye program. What was your biggest point of emphasis in the offseason after you took over in Columbus?
Just development with our guys, you know, making sure that they knew that we had their best interest at heart, and you know, putting together plans for them to kind of build their toolbox and, you know, be really excited about coming to the yard every day and trying to get better a little bit day by day, and just understanding that the totality of the season is not defined by one day. It's defined by a bunch of one days stacked up one after another. And if we can keep putting ourselves in a good position, we'll finish better than we started.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck the rest of the game.
Thank you, guys.
And again, Buckeyes head coach Justin Hare joining us. Baylor batting here in the bottom of the second. Full count to the leadoff man, Hunter Simmons.
You know what's happened over the last couple of years is that it used to be just coach speech you would get in these games, right? I mean, they just say, oh, my pitcher's doing great. And they say, oh, I love listening to these guys talk nowadays. I mean, they are so baseball intellectual and talking about, you know, the moment, the players, individuals, trying to give them their best moments. I mean, it's fun to listen to them.
Ball is popped up in right. Lipsy is in and has it for the first out of the second.
I'd have been boring for y'all, 100%. This is just for the record. I mean, it was all back in the day. It was all old school, you know, talk. Don't give away anything. Don't tell them something they could use, you know. But they eloquently now describe how they want to coach emotionally and physically with these players.
Here's Pearson Reebok, who was robbed of a homer last night by Easton Taltz. One of the top catches in college baseball here in the young season. Made SportsCenter's top 10 last night.
What do you think was going through his mind after he caught it? He's like, is this what Division I baseball's like? Is this what this is going to be like?
I mean, the way that Taltz was able to reach over the wall, hang on to that ball. Here's a look at that catch. And here, Reebok shoots one to right. That's down for a base hit. On his way to second base. No robbing him this time. He's got a double.
Two pretty good swings for that young man, starting last night with the one that got stolen from him, the home run that did. Comes back again. Little cutter running into him. That's hard on those left-handed hitters, Brant. That cutter starts running into your hands, and it's hard to get that barrel squeezed in between it. Does a nice job coming out of the box, hustling to second base all the way.
Been a pretty remarkable start to the year for Reebok. Now 6 for 13 with 3 doubles to start his Baylor career. Brings up Ty Johnson. And takes a strike.
He'll be able to always add a half a homer in there in his career. He just and a half, right? Yeah. I mean, that's a half.
Ty Johnson, the batter, failed to reach base for the first time all season last night. Hitless against Oregon State. On the ground to the right side, Maddox Simpson makes the play. A productive out will move Reebok over to third, and now there's 2 outs.
Looked like a cutter, which he's used quite a bit. Actually, his cutter more prevalent than his fastball so far. Harrell, nice easy play, comfortable play for the first baseman.
Brings up Duplantis, only had 1 at-bat last night before being pulled for Reebok. Third-year transfer to this Baylor program from TCU. And this afternoon making his 98th start as a Baylor Bear. Coaches talk a lot about situational hitting. Baylor struggled in the 2-out department last night against the Beavers, just 1 for 10 with 2 outs in their first game here this weekend. 3-0.
I'm going to tell you part of that story was those guys on the mound. That was power. First pitcher, second pitcher, closer. And that was just, I was so impressed with the power last night off the mound from Oregon State. Kilgell, he was 90 up to 96, 97. That fastball was just absolutely angry. And Segura right after that, a little bit different action on his, but still power, and that'll keep you from getting a whole lot of 2-out hits.
Baylor chased Keljo out of the game after 4 innings. That was not long after he gave up the 2-run homer to Wesley Jordan. Eric Segura was the first reliever out of the pen for the Beavers. 3 innings and did not give up an earned run. Then Matthew Morrell perfect through 6 to close out the game. Runners now the corners for the Bears. 2 outs for J.J. Kennett. First-year transfer from Dallas Baptist. Swing and a miss on the slider. Counts 0-1.
Well, he was trying to ambush a fastball in an 0-0 count. Harrell does a nice job of realizing that possibility and throws him a slider. And a swing and miss. Good looking slider.
On the ground to the left side, the third baseman Stevens. Long throw to first. On target to Simpson. And the Bears strand 2. A double and a walk in the inning, but no runs scored for the Bears. We head to the third. Scoreless here from Globe Life Field.
Bowman Engineering and Consulting and their dedicated Amegy business banker worked together to put the us in business banking, which included the occasional lunch meeting. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amegy business banker with banking experience in your industry, because you're more than a customer. We're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, planning sessions whenever you need them. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
Arlington, the Renegades are going full throttle this spring. When the UFL returns,
What a catch!
get ready for more action-packed football and unforgettable experiences at Choctaw Stadium.
That is something special right there.
Renegades, mount up and get your tickets today.
All 3 weekends of college baseball here at Globe Life Field benefit Shriners Children's with a portion of ticket sales going to a worthy cause that is dedicated to improving the lives of children around the world. To donate, scan the QR code on your screen or visit globelifefield.com/college baseball. 2 innings in the books here from Globe Life Field. No score between the Buckeyes and the Bears. These 2 programs meeting for the first time ever. Back on the hill is Bryson Bales. Through 2 innings, no runs given up. A strikeout and just 1 hit surrendered. That was to the leadoff man, Trey Lipsy, back in the first inning. So again, no history between the Buckeyes and Bears. There wasn't a ton either between Baylor and Oregon State. The only other time they had met was in the 2005 College World Series, a game that Baylor won in 10 innings. A World Series in Omaha ultimately won by Texas.
Not a bad spot to meet for the first and only time in Omaha, Nebraska.
We have a great matchup on deck in the nightcap tonight. Auburn and Oregon State. And those two met recently in the postseason in the 2022 Corvallis Super Regional. A regional won by Auburn. This pitch hit in the air to center. Ty Johnson, well short of the warning track. That's good for his fourth put out of the game as Simpson flies out to start the third.
Well, you were reading my mind. Just as he hit that ball, I started to look at my scorebook just to see how many fly ball outs that is for him so far, and it's been 5. I don't count the line drive to the third baseman as a pop-up, obviously. But that means is he's getting the hitters out front. They're getting out in front, getting the barrel below the baseball with some of these high, lazy fly balls to the outfield.
Lipsy's had a good stay in Arlington so far for the Buckeyes. Has been on base 3 times. Senior out of Southfield, Michigan. Coming off a career year, drove in 45 runs last year for Ohio State. Over 100 runs batted in his Buckeyes career. Has now played in more than 150 games for the Scarlet and Gray.
That's a good career.
Ball headed towards left field. That's going to shoot foul.
If you think about when you go to sign a young high school player and so you come to Ohio State or wherever it is, you talk about the future's bright, come, you know, education, be a part of the community here, all those so many things that from a recruiting perspective, as you see that happy young man getting a foul ball.
Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Bales. And now 2 outs here in the third.
I'll finish my thought. I mean, at 150 games, that's a productive sign. That's a productive moment. He just struck out. That's a tough fastball. A lot of people are going to strike out on that pitch that they just threw him, that Bales just threw him. But that's a productive 150 games. He's made his mark at Ohio State.
Here's Lee Ellis with the bases empty. Once upon a time, Ellis, a top-ranked prospect in the entire state of Maryland, coming out of high school, began his career in South Carolina. 17 games for the Gamecocks a year ago, and now in his first season in Columbus. Two-0 pitch on the inner half of the plate for a strike.
Been impressed. Bell's fastball. It's got nice action to the end of it, right to left, two-seamer. It's late action to it. High spin rate.
Little check swing up the middle. Reebok over to first base. 6 in a row retired by Bryson Bales. Gets through the Buckeyes in order in the top of the third. We head to the bottom of the inning. Still scoreless here from Globe Life Field in Arlington.
Resilience. At Shriners Children's, we're leaders in pediatric sports medicine. With expertise in sprains, tears, fractures, and other sports-related injuries. We're here to deliver the best care in the business and never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs. Because every great comeback starts with a game plan for empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Naylor Industries and their dedicated Amegy business banker work together to put the us in business banking, focusing on their business needs with lightning speed. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amegy business banker with banking experience in your industry. Because you're more than a customer, we're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, a banking partner who is just as invested in your growth as you are. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
Time now for a coach's interview presented by Amegy Bank. We're joined by Baylor Bears head coach Mitch Thompson. Coach, let's start with Bryson Bales. He's retired 6 in a row, 3 scoreless innings, a couple of strikeouts. What have you seen from your left-hander?
He's got good stuff. You know, his arms, it's a good arm, and he when he's in the strike zone and heading the count, he's awful tough. So hopefully we can keep doing that.
Mitch, you know, trying to put a coaching staff together is always so important, right? The head coach is at the top of it, and he either gets most of the credit or most of the bad things that go with it, but having a great staff with you is always such a huge deal, and you bring back some ex-players. Tell us about your staff and your assistant coaches you've got with you.
Yeah, well, I'm blessed. I've got an incredible staff, and I mean guys who really like to go recruit, who also are really good at developing talent. And you know, Zach Dillon is our recruiting coordinator and our hitting coach. You know, Baylor All-American, legend around here, and we're glad to have him back. He's doing a great job. Jim Blair's coaching third base, coaching our outfielders, running our offense. And Jim brings a ton of experience to us. And then we added Sean Snedeker to the coaching staff this year as our pitching coach from Lamar. And so those 3 guys are phenomenal at developing players and recruiting. And then you had Brian Furlong as our director of pitching development, and you had Darren Thomas as our director of operations, who's really an extra bench coach for me. It's an incredible staff, so we're blessed.
Hey, Coach, last night we had David Murphy in the booth. What do you remember about his time at Baylor?
Oh, Murph was great. You know, I remember recruiting him. I thought he was the best left-handed hitter in the state of Texas. He showed up as a freshman, won a starting job, probably hit 280 to 300. Sophomore year, you know, ended up breaking a hamate bone and had to battle with that. And then junior year was just phenomenal, hit over 400. And, you know, super regional team that was a couple outs from going to Omaha. So, you know, I remember a lot from Murph. I mean, first rounder, we need more David Murphys.
The world needs more David Murphys, right?
There's no question. And what a great human being, what a great family man he is, and we couldn't be more proud of him. Get over his head. Nope.
Made the catch going into the wall. Coach, thank you so much, and best of luck the rest of the game.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot.
Good play by Lips in the outfield for the second out here in the third.
Those coaches are talking, but they're watching. I mean, they like doing the interviews they do. It's an awkward moment for them at times because they're trying to pay attention to the game, you know, and stay focused. They're telling their players, you got to stay focused in the dugout. But they're hanging on to every pitch.
Apodaca batting for the second time. Ahead of the changeup there from Harrell. Lays off the breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Apodaca. Swung on, that's line foul. Count runs to 1-2.
You know what's interesting about playing in these tournaments? You teach your players part of your culture, and both these coaches do this. They talk about playing hard every game. playing every pitch, being engaged, and all those things that go along with winning. But what's interesting about tournaments that are different than series, a 3-game series, as this ball's lifted out shallow center field.
And Bussey will make the catch to end the inning.
I'll finish this when we come back, because there's something to two teams that have lost are battling to win a game. And so it's different than a 3-game series.
Protecting what matters most is the mission that matters most. At Lockheed Martin, we know today's threats come from behind, above, and below, and we make sure those who serve stay ahead of them by connecting platforms necessary to dominate every domain across air, land, sea, space, and cyber, using technologies that protect in the same moment they detect. The mission is a safer, more secure world. Our promise is to help make it happen.
Sometimes you just need a little wonderful in your life. So why not go to a place made for it? Arlington, Texas. It's a city made for fun and excitement and all the things you love to do. And even some things you didn't know you loved until you came here and found them. Come see for yourself why Arlington is a world of wonderful.
Everything you thought you knew is brand new. We on a new wave. This ain't what it was. See, when the game changes, so do we. Every day, every play. Always been greater than 12. Now standing 16 strong. In every end zone. Any time zone. When everyone else keeps asking, what's next? We know. We are.
We spoke about the history of Ohio State's program earlier. How about Baylor's? A program founded in the early 1900s, 5 conference titles. They've been to the NCAA tournament more than 20 times, 3 College World Series appearances for the Bears. Last time this program made a regional was back in 2019. A year ago, an injury-plagued season for Baylor, finishing 22-31, just 10-20 in Big 12 play, failing to qualify for last year's Big 12 Conference Tournament.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about the history there. I grew up in a household of Baylor graduates. My dad was a Baylor football and baseball player there, and was a part of some really good teams back in the 50s. And so as a young tyke, I had to run around the B Club and learn about the Baylor sports history, whether I wanted to or not, which I did. But they've got a rich history.
Tyler Petterini, Matthew Gravelin, Maisel Eckelman for the Buckeyes here in the 4th inning. Ohio State still looking to score this weekend. Got shut out in 7 innings yesterday. And just 3 hits so far for Ohio State in their stay in Arlington.
Well, Bell's fastball has got such late action to it. These left-handed hitters are having a hard time. That's the 5th pitch that he's thrown in on top of those hitters that they've either fouled off or check swung or missed.
That ball scorched up the middle for a base hit for Petterini. The leadoff man is on for the Buckeyes for the 3rd time today.
Well, like that, he goes back to his fastball in the middle of the plate, and Petterini does a really nice job of hitting it right back where it came from. Watch this ball in the middle, not in on him. It's a nice piece of hitting right there.
That'll bring up Gravelin. And Petterini, with the ball to dirt, takes off for second, and he's there.
That's a great read. Now, that looks like he got there comfortably and easy. He broke as soon as he read ball in dirt. He breaks. You're going to look, bam, right as soon as he saw it hit the dirt, he was out of there in an aggressive mode. Look at him looking at it as he shuffled off, getting his secondary. He didn't have any chance to throw him out. It's a great read.
This is just the 2nd time this week, and the Buckeyes have had a runner in scoring position. Petterini now at second base. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gravelin.
Well, you saw him bunt, or show bunt, and he's already in a 1-1 count. I think they're trying to get a guy 90 feet from home plate, open some options for the next hitter to get a fly ball, base hit, whatever it takes, right, to get a run in.
That's popped up. And no play for Little from first base. Talked about Baylor's season last year, winning 22 games. The Buckeyes won 29, going 12-12 in Big Ten play, qualifying for the Big Ten Conference Tournament. A 7th place finish in the conference last year. 2-2. Hit to Reebok. That'll move Petterini to third. And 1 away here in the top of the 4th.
Well, you'd always like to say a productive out. That's a productive out. 2 strikes, change up away. You can't afford a strikeout right there. The worst case scenario for you as a hitter is to get the guy 90 feet from home plate and hit the ball the right side on the ground. Allows the runner from second to move to third. Now, a ground ball in the middle of the field, a fly ball in the outfield. You got a lot of different ways to get your first run in on the game.
One ball, 1 strike to Eckelman. Walked his first at bat against Bales, back in the 2nd. Looking for his first hit of the weekend. Foul tip strike into the mitt of Kennett. It's 1-2.
Man, he tried to pull a slider running away from him. That was a ball he could have stayed on, maybe got to the middle part of the field. Now you got to shorten up a little bit. Get this ball, if you got to roll it in the middle of the field, ground ball, whatever you got to do, get that runner in from third base. Shorten up, different approach, whatever it may be.
Pops it up. Behind the plate, Kennett able to make the catch going into the nets.
Well, he's still in the net. He got his buckles caught in on the net. Oh, he's out of there. What a catch. I think they're going to ask whether this ball hit the net. It's a great catch, and I don't blame Coach Hare for asking about this. We'll get another look at it here. He caught it so high. We've got a meeting of the minds on the mound. He was hung in there like a fish in a net, and yeah, I had a sneaky suspicion they were going to challenge this.
Have our first review of the night or of the afternoon.
I don't know if there's a camera angle that we'll even be able to see if it touched the net. Just because it's coming down at such a high, from such a high spot. And if it touches or just glances the net, obviously, Brent, then it's no good. It's no catch. It looked like he caught that ball away from the net for me. But I don't know what it did. If it touched on its way down. I know our camera crew, that's 20 feet. I think that's a catch.
Yeah, I think this is going to stand.
Let's say see something we don't see. I didn't see the ball get altered in any way. That's a great catch. Give it to him. Heck, for crying out loud, he got caught up in the net.
Our umpire crew today, Chris Koski behind the plate, Mark Winters at first, Clayton Ham at second, and David Ewell at third.
is a good umpiring crew, too. These guys have been doing this a long time. Yeah, these guys have worked a lot of games here, worked a lot of games in the Big 12, Sun Belt, SEC. They're really good umpires.
That look at Chris Koski. And Mark Winters over at first. Call confirmed. Good catch by Eckelman. That's good for the second out. Or good catch by Kennett, rather, retiring Eckelman.
How awesome would it be if an umpire walked out there and say, regardless of what you guys thought, he's out. I mean, just to have a little fun with it. Right. I know you guys thought it didn't, but it didn't. We made the right call.
Good play by Kennett. Brings up Mark Stevens. That takes a strike in the slider. Stevens, a first-year transfer from Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Good numbers in JUCO a year ago, hitting .435. Looks at a breaking ball this time out of the zone for ball one. Swing and a miss. Count 1-2. Good change up there from Bales.
Yep, sure was. He thought it was going to be an inside fastball. Got that barrel sped up. Couldn't hold it back. It's too tempting. Like he was going to be able to get a pull side swing at a fastball.
Kennett able to secure it and doesn't throw to third.
Well, and the reason for it, I think he might have been able to throw to third, but the third baseman was retreating because he had come in. We're going to maybe get another look. He was in front of the bag just a little bit coming in, and I think that's why he chose not to throw. I do think he would have got him. It's a great play, a double catch almost, and runner was down the line. Third baseman was trying to create a throwing angle by moving to the outside of the runner.
Swing and a miss. Swung over the top of the slider there from Bales. His breaking ball was working in that inning. A leadoff base hit for Petterini. They're left stranded at third base. The Buckeyes have left 3 on as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Following the third strikeout of the day for Bryson Bales. Buckeyes, Bears, scoreless here from Globe Life Field.
At Shriners Children's, we're home to the world's leading pediatric orthopedic care. Because so many life-changing advancements start here. We provide access to the best doctors and never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs. We're the first place to turn for the most common or complex orthopedic conditions. Home to possibility and empowering kids to achieve the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Record-breaking global superstar Shakira, live in Arlington. Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran World Tour. Globe Life Field, June 11th. The phenomenal new album Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran is available everywhere now. Get tickets now at Shakira.com.
Yeah, winning a policy. Thank God for $1 of prophecy. Love the pressure. I am a prodigy. Everybody inside of the stadium tell me they proud of me. Shot in public, training privately. Homer, straight to the balcony. Building muscle, I never can bother me. Texas Rangers together, we by the team. Go man, this is the dog in me. Still a game on the road, it's a robbery. Stand on base, going strong, no apology. Corey Seager might give it too raw. Like I see it, the strength in my arm.
Take a look at the Big 12 Conference preseason poll. Oklahoma State, the reigning tournament champions, picked to win this year. Newcomer Arizona picked second. TCU, who was here in Arlington last weekend, picked to finish third. Baylor picked to finish 13th in the Big 12 this season. And you look and you see a lot of the newcomers in there. Arizona State picked 6th, Utah picked 12th. A much different looking conference this year than it was a year ago. No Texas, no Oklahoma on that list.
Well, if Baylor stays healthy, they're not going to finish 13th. They're a much improved team. We've been fortunate. We've already seen 4 or 5 of these teams already in the Big 12 or from the Big 12 in the Globe Life Series here in the college, Shriners College Showdown Series. Look, Arizona had a big win last night against the Aggies. They scored 2 in the 9th and then held on, got Jace Laviolette out with a runner on to end the game. The Aggies' #1 hitter and could be one of the best players in the country. And there's a lot of new faces, as you just mentioned. TCU won a great game last night against Southern Miss, who's in the top 22 from the Sun Belt. And they're back at it again today.
Full count to Jordan. On the ground of the shortstop, Ellis. The throw's offline, got away from Simpson. Errant throw that finds its way out of play. Jordan takes another base, and that's the first error of the game for either team.
I don't know if we'll get another look at this. Ellis went to a knee just to make sure that he was going to field this ball because it was hit pretty hard. It rolled up on him, still in a comfortable position to throw. Well, first of all, first baseman had the wrong foot on the bag. He had his left foot on the bag. It needs to be his right foot. But I don't know, even if he had his right foot on the bag, if he was going to catch that ball either way. But throwing error, runner in second base in scoring position.
And now Hunter Simmons with a fly ball out towards right center field, and that's gone. Into the bullpen for a 2-run homer. Hunter Simmons goes deep, and it's 2-0 Baylor.
Well, if you're the hitting coach, you got to love this because you work non-stop talking to your players about executing, hitting something away, and getting them behind it, and absolutely driving it. 101 off the bat and drives it out to right center. Just in that little, where it comes in at the 374, that is a tremendous piece of power hitting. I'm going to tell you what, that is a good-looking swing, an execution of a ball away, elevated.
Second home run of the weekend for the Bears. A 2-run shot brings up Pearson Reebok, who again was oh so close to having a home run of his own last night. The homer for Simmons almost the same part of the field that Reebok's homer was robbed last night.
Yeah, it sure was. It was just a little right of it.
Swing and a miss. Third strikeout for Harrell. And good to see him bounce back after giving up the long ball.
Well, if you get a pitch, you're going to give up hits, you're going to give up big hits, you're going to give up homers. And he does, he comes back. Nice round of pitching. Pitch before was a changeup away, then he runs that cutter back in on those left-handed hitters. I couldn't stay off of it.
Brings up Ty Johnson, good hitter in the 6th hole for the Baylor Bears. The senior has reached base 17 times through Baylor's first 9 games this season. Baylor never led against Oregon State last night, so their first lead of the weekend. On the inner half of the plate for strike 2. It's been a good offensive start to the year for the Bears. Coming into Arlington, 14th in the nation in team batting average, second of the conference in runs scored, and the 13th highest on-base percentage in the nation. 2-2. Foul away.
Yeah, he's got a cover on his shin, but I think that went down and got him on the foot. That's painful. It's like somebody just taking a hammer and going to hit you on top of your toe. It's not a great feeling. If you look in the background right there, you can see Bale standing up. A lot of guys, a lot of pitchers like to go and sit, and then you have others who just they are so engaged in the game. They want to get up, walk around, watch the game, celebrate with their teammates when they score a run, and I'm sure he did with Simmons.
This Baylor team looking for his first ever win at Globe Life Field. They're 0-7 here all time, including 3 losses at last year's Shriners Children's College Showdown. 2-2. Headed towards left field, and that's foul. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Right idea. Offensively, that's the right idea. Slider away from you, or secondary away from you. You got a chance to just flip it over third baseman's head into left field, but he wasn't able to keep it fair.
Fouls off another pitch. Nice battle here between Johnson and Harrell.
The ball landed in the third deck. Foul. It tells you how hard he hit it and how high he hit it.
Just not giving in to this at-bat.
No, I love it. I love it when 2 guys get after it like this. You got a pitcher trying to get you out, 2 strikes. You got a hitter who's fouling off, hanging in there, trying to tough it out, trying to find a pitch he can handle to get into play. I love these one-on-one battles.
The 2-2. And checks the swing. Harrell that time tried to work a slider down to the zone. Johnson didn't chase, and now the count full. That ball shot to right field. That's down for a base hit. What an at-bat there for Ty Johnson.
That sure was. And I'm getting a chance as I can see it. I'm watching the Baylor dugout, and all of his teammates were applauding him. They recognize it. Coaches recognize it. What a tremendous, you said it, what an unbelievable battle that was as he crossed first base. As all of his teammates were over the top of the padding right there, celebrating with him. That's a tremendous at-bat. Fouled off, I think, 5 pitches. Finally got a fastball up, elevated, that he could pull over to the right side.
That'll bring out a visit from pitching coach Tyler Robinson. Was Justin Harris pitching coach at Campbell for 9 seasons before spending last year at Liberty. But a tough inning for Harrell, if you recall. Got a ground ball on the left side to start it, but a bad throw by Lee Ellis led to Wesley Jordan reaching base. After that, gave up the 2-run homer. After a strikeout of Reebok, battle with Ty Johnson. Johnson won that battle. So now a base runner for the Bears with 1 out brings up to Plansky. Been a frustrating inning for Harrell.
Well, throwing a baseball is physical activity. I mean, there's a lot behind it, and that's a long battle. What that was to go out there and give his pitcher an opportunity to catch his breath. That's exactly what that is. You may think, well, he was just throwing a baseball. No, when you're out there competing and putting a lot into it and accelerating through your body, it's a lot of effort. And you got every once in a while go out there, let him catch his breath. Well, you can look to his hat. He's sweating through his hat. I mean, there's a lot of activity and movement in throwing a baseball.
Baylor team that will put the runners in motion. 13 stolen bases on the season and ranks 4th in the Big 12.
Well, on cue, Ohio State trying to keep him in check and trying to keep Ty Johnson in check because he too can run.
Takes off here, hit and run is on, and the ball is caught by Lipsy. Had to leap up to make that catch. Johnson retreats to first base. Good play for the second out of the inning.
Well, they put the game in motion with Johnson. Looked like a run and hit. By the way he approached the swing, it didn't look like he was just trying to hit it down on the ground and a hit and run for him. And Lipsy does a good job of staying with it and coming up with a catch.
Now J.J. Kennett. Grounds out one to third. Stevens with the infield grass. Over to Simpson to end the inning. But Baylor struck first. Hunter Simmons, a 2-run homer, has put Baylor on top 2-0 over the Ohio State Buckeyes. For the Bears, their second home run this week at a Globe Life Field. And Baylor's on top of Ohio State 2-0 as we head to the 5th here on Flo College. We're back after this from Arlington, Texas.
I don't feel right unless the odds against me. Back against the wall with my strength. Yeah, I can't let it break. Everything I've been through, it made better. I never hate, it just made me better. Been through everything, it just made me better. I can't waste the pain, it just made me better. Once you make me say, it just made me better.
To left field. Goodbye, home run.
There's an old saying, everything's bigger in Texas. Well, let's just say IndyCar is about to go to a whole nother level.
Get ready, Arlington. This is where history is made and champions are born.
Welcome back to Globe Life Field. 2-0 Baylor on top. Hunter Simmons, a 2-run homer into the Baylor bullpen in the bottom of the 4th inning. And now Bryson Bales pitching with the lead for the first time here this afternoon. So far, Bales 4 solid innings for the Bears on the mound. Has given up just 2 hits, 3 strikeouts for Bales. As the Buckeyes come to bat here in the top of the 5th inning. Bottom part of the order coming up for Ohio State's Bussey, Jamarusti, and Simpson. Ty, what have you seen from Bryson Bales so far?
It's a heavy right to left running fastball. It's got great late action to it. It's tough on these left-handed hitters. I mean, I think, not that they can't hit him, but when he's been on with that fastball and in on him, they've really had a hard time recognizing it because it keeps running in, keeps boring in on them. And as long as he's been working ahead, I mean, you even heard Coach Thompson say that if he's ahead with his fastball, And he's a lot more potent off the mound. We say that now. There's 3 straight balls, not big misses, little misses. The last 2 were borderline ball strikes.
Pitch cut up to 65 for Bales. Now 3-1 to Bussey.
You know, I mean, when you're chasing 2 and you haven't had a whole lot of offense success, you know, do you take in a 3-1 count here, make him throw it in there? Nope.
You swing instead. Apodaca going back, and that's over his head. Bounces off the warning track. Bussey, a good piece of hitting, a leadoff double. Starts the 5th inning for Ohio State.
A great piece of hitting. Ball middle of the plate. Recognize it early, gets the barrel to it. Middle away from him. On the fencing and right field. Not knowing exactly maybe where it is. But a nice piece of hitting either way.
The first extra base hit of the weekend for the Buckeyes. Fourth time in 5 innings, leadoff man has reached for Ohio State. Every time so far, Bales has wriggled off the hook. There's a bunt put down. Bales won't field it. Toplansky will. The throw to first base, a bang-bang play, and Jamarusti is out.
Well, that's great execution by the third baseman, communicating with Bales on the bunt. He's supposed to come in, Toplansky does, on a ball that side because it's a left-handed pitcher, but Bales has got to go a long ways. We'll get another look at this. He's got to go a long ways over to his right, so it's going to take his momentum away from the throw. Toplansky does a good job of calling him off, just like a fly ball. You do this in practice every other day. It's a nice play. Yeah, I think he's out.
Now the nine-hole hitter, Maddox Simpson, flew out in his first at-bat.
Well, why do you bunt? Well, let me tell you why. You haven't scored much, right? You're having a hard time generating offense. You're at the bottom third of your lineup. Give your 9-hole hitter a chance to roll a ball in the middle of the field and or get a hit. You know, whatever it takes, you got to answer to the 2-run homer that Baylor just hit the inning before, half inning before.
Foul back for strike 2.
I mean, the appetite for just shortening up right here, getting it in the middle of the field, rolling the ball, ground ball, whatever it takes. As a hitter, you got to just shorten up right here. I think we're going to see a visit from Coach Snedeker, which, by the way, in his own right as a player, as a pitcher, at once Southwest Texas and then at Texas A&M, had one of the better breaking balls in the great state of Texas, and was a tremendous pitcher in college. And really, man, I'm telling you what, you talking about could spin a baseball.
In addition, Mitch Thompson made to the staff over the offseason. Snedeker spending the last 7 years in Beaumont at Lamar. Cardinal pitching staff a year ago at a 3.79 ERA, one of the lowest in the country. 1-2. Up the middle, that's going to bring in a run. And Kemp bobbles the ball, can't make the play. Simpson safe at first, and the Buckeyes are on the board. It's 2-1.
Well, you saw the reason why they bunted, right? They were trying to just create some offense. Let's get a run in here. Let's let the bottom of our order hit a ground ball. And not only does he hit the ground ball and get the run in, now with that in-between hop, now you got to run at first base to even continue on with your offense in this inning, possibly.
Simpson fired up as we go back to the top of the Buckeye order.
Well, he knew, right? He knew in his mind when he was in there with 2 strikes, I've got to roll this ball in the middle of the field. I've got to hit a ground ball in the middle of the field. I can't strike out, can't pop up in the infield, and he did his job.
Lipsy facing Bales for a third time. Had an infield base hit back in the first inning.
And not only did his job, now he swung it to the top of the order.
And with Bales, his pitch count nearing 80. And his third time through this Buckeyes order. Is now activity in that Baylor bullpen. A bullpen which has been really good this year. That gets away from Kennett on a wild pitch. Simpson advances to second base, and the tying run now in scoring position.
Well, that one popped out of his hand. This just doesn't come close. I mean, every once in a while things like this happen. It was a breaker. You can see the spin on it. Just popped out of his hand early. Bullpen is going for Baylor. And
fastball just off the plate, feels the count at 3-2.
Wow, good pitch. That's a tough pitch to take. Lipsy does. It was just off the edge. That is really tough to take with 2 strikes.
Bales is going to run out of time.
I don't know if they're not able to. Yeah, they did call time, but the reason he called time is they're saying his watch is malfunctioned, or whatever you want to call them. And I mean, it's not an Apple Watch or anything, but it's something, right? And I think that's what they're trying to discuss is, you know, they did call time, and you can see that. You know, the whatever, you know,
pitch comp?
Pitch watch. Is that a word? And if not, it is now. But you said it. I mean, it was the time was peeling down on him when they called time, but apparently it's working enough to.
Seems to be working now. 3-2 pitch out of the zone. Simpson takes off for third, and he's gunned down by Kennett.
Just over aggressive on the bases, ball in dirt. You know, with 1 out, you know, you'll take a gamble a little bit, but not this big a gamble. You're already in scoring position. You get a walk. He just an aggressive read on ball in dirt. And he throws him out at third base. Now you got 2 outs, runner on first instead of 1 out, runner first, third. But just trying to be aggressive and trying to create something with his legs and his read.
Now Liella's batting for a third time. First pitch swinging, pops it up into right to Apodaca. And that'll do it for the Buckeyes in the top of the 5th. Ohio State with his first run of the weekend. It's now a 2-1 game. We're back after this from Globe Life Field on Flow College.
Breaking global superstar Shakira, live in Arlington. Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran World Tour. Globe Life Field, June 11th. The phenomenal new album Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran is available everywhere now. Get tickets now at Shakira.com.
Todd, let's take a look at this last base running play by Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ball in dirt read. Ball down in the dirt. didn't get away from the catcher. Just trying to be aggressive. You teach your guys with one out. You'll be more aggressive with one out, Brant, than with two, right? You don't want to make the third out at third base and trying to get the third base while, with less than two, so it puts you in with a sac fly opportunity, but just didn't work out. A good throw as well.
Yeah, it's been a really good defensive day for J.J. Kennett behind the plate for the Bears. Had a great catch behind home plate going into the net. Acostaling there at third. A lot of great defense this weekend so far, Arlington, from all four teams.
Yeah, and pitching today. We got two guys out there battling. We're into this game. We're in the fifth inning. These guys, third start of the year, probably could get up to 90 to 100 pitches at this point, possibly. Don't know if the coaches want them to, but they know what their ceiling is.
This is the fifth inning of work for Chase Harrell for the Buckeyes. So far, 72 pitches through 4 innings. And he's about to see the top of the order for a third time. Tyreek Kemp draws a leadoff walk.
Well, now Baylor's got some offensive options. Talking about leadoff walk, you've got speed at first base, swinging it to the top of your order. What you think it should be and probably is some of your better hitters. Now do you go to, run and hit and run? You've got some offense, or just like a lot of guys nowadays, they just play offense. That's a good looking. Thought it was going to be a good looking bunt, the drag bunt down the third baseline.
Buckeyes also have activity in their bullpen. Looks like a left-hander getting loose now for Ohio State.
Ohio State, that's a read move. You're trying to see if the batter moves up in the box, they need to create a bigger bunting angle for him, and/or is the runner leaning, trying to get out and run or steal or hit and run.
A ball and a strike to Little, sophomore out of Katy, Texas. Second-year transfer to Baylor from Wichita State. And right now, Harrell keeping close tabs on Tyreek Kemp at first.
Well, 1-1 counts are, a lot of guys like to hit and run 1-1, 2-1 counts.
Got a 2-1 count coming up. Little, a big start of the year for Baylor. First 4 games of the season, had 10 hits, scoring 11 times. Good table setter in this offense for the Bears. Big swing and a miss. And now it's 2-2.
I think I'm just curious. I think Baylor missed a hit and run on that. That was a swing like he was trying to hit it down on the ground. I don't know that for sure, but it sure acted like it from the hitter's perspective.
Swung on. There's a drive out to left. Jamarusti is back, looking, and it's gone into the bullpen. Jack Little with Baylor's second home run of the day, and it's 4-1 Bears.
Well, he's probably glad he didn't hit and run if it was, just in case. But let me tell you what, he got after this ball 105 or 104.8 off the bat. Carries a long way. That ball was a towering home run to left center. Look at him get to the bottom of that baseball, gets completely extended and behind it. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking, oh, we're going to see another, robbed home run possibly, but this one hit too far out to left center for another 2-run homer.
Reggie Bussey trying to track it down, lost his glove into the bullpen of the process. So Baylor's hit homers to each bullpen in this game. Simmons to his own pen, Little to Ohio State's group of relievers. And out of the plate, Enzo Apodaca. Last two innings have played out eerily similar. If you're Ohio State, leadoff man reaching, next man up, a 2-run shot. As Apodaca strikes out.
And you know, I think I'm right. Each time Harrell has given up a home run, he's come back and struck out the next guy.
That's true.
I mean, that shows his competitiveness, number one. But there's a lot of guys pitching wise. They give up a homer, they'll lose their focus.
Wesley Jordan was the one that reached on the error in the last inning and later scored the homer from Simmons. Pops that pitch out of play. Wesley Jordan from Highland Village, Texas, was high school teammates with fellow Baylor Bears Ty Johnson and Hunter Duplansky. All three now find themselves in Waco. 1-1. On the ground of the shortstop, Ellis deep in the hole. Long throw to Maddox Simpson for the second out.
Nice play. Does a good job. He moves back behind this ball like an outfielder catching a fly ball who's going to have to make a throw to a base. Gets behind it so he can get some momentum going back because it was going to be a long. He knew what hop he was about to get.
Brings up Hunter Simmons. Last time he was up, took Harold deep to right center. An opposite field home run. Baylor now 3 home runs this weekend. The 1-0 is grounded right back to Harrell. Fields and flips to Simpson at first base to end the inning. Baylor another 2-run homer, this time courtesy of Jack Little. It's given Baylor a 4-1 lead through 5 innings. We're back after this from Globe Life Field in Arlington.
Golden Chick's new Golden Bowl is so big, it's a whole lot of yes and a whole lot of yum. So if you like big bowls, and we cannot lie, the new loaded mashed potato bowl is a whole lot of Golden Chick, a big bowl you can't deny.
Woodcraft and their dedicated Amegy business banker work together to put the us in business banking, creating a long-lasting relationship with open and quick communication. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amegy business banker with banking experience in your industry. Because you're more than a customer. We're more than a bank, and together we'll work to help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, the support you need to reach your business goals faster. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
The Baylor Bears get 5 innings out of Bryson Bales, and now the ball turned over to Lucas Davenport. No runs given up in 5 1/3 this inning, or this season rather. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks on the year. Takes over after Bales, goes 5 innings, giving up just a single run to Ohio State, and Baylor on top 4-1 as we head to the top of the 6th inning. Coming up, the heart of the order, For Ohio State's head coach Justin Hare, Tyler Petterini, Matthew Gravelin, and Mason Eckerman due up for the Buckeyes. Baylor on top here 4-1. Record of 7-2. Their best start 2 years is 2019. Lost last night. Only other setback was to Gonzaga at extra innings. Last week at Waco. Good team batting average at .342. Top 20 of the country. Playing outside of Waco for the first time this year. As we get ready for the top of the sixth. With Lucas Davenport now on the mound, a first-year transfer from Blinn Junior College. Helped lead that JUCO powerhouse to a national championship this past year. In fact, he was named as the World Series' most outstanding pitcher.
Indeed, he did for Dusty Hart and the Blinn Buccaneers in their first national title.
Ground ball to short, and Kemp can't handle it. His second error of the game. And Petterini reaches to start the sixth inning.
Well, uncharacteristic of him. He knows it. He doesn't make many mistakes. He knows it. He's owning it. He's a young man that got the attitude of, hey, hit me enough. Got it in between hop. Stay back a little bit more. Maybe it got a better hop. He knows it. Again, I bet you in his mind he's saying, hit it to me again.
Final numbers for the Baylor starter, Bryson Bales. 5 innings, 1 run given up. Off 3 hits, struck out 3. And would be in line for the win. Would mark his second of the year. Gravelin today 0 for 2. Pops his pitch up. Out towards right center. It's Johnson that'll handle it for the first out here in the sixth.
Nice job of pitching coming off of the first pitch. Shortstop uncharacteristically. I don't know why that was really hard for me to get out. I guess easy for me to say. Made an error and then comes right back and gets a nice easy fly ball to right center.
Last time Davenport pitched was against Gonzaga last weekend. 4 scoreless innings against the Bulldogs. Struck out 3. And again, Baylor's bullpen has been really good so far this season. As that pitch is grounded right back to Davenport. Throw to first base is in time. Petterini moves to second, and now there's 2 outs.
Looked like a changeup, 82-mile-an-hour changeup. Got him out in front of it. Eckelman got him out in front. I'll tell you what, Davenport does a nice job breaking off the mound. Knew how much time he had. Cleanly picks it up. It's a good throw.
Talked about the Baylor pen, just 8 runs given up in more than 37 innings of relief this year. Coming into Arlington, a bullpen ERA just over 2. That wild pitch bounces away from Kennett. And now Petterini at third. In fact, the Bears' entire staff, starters and relievers through the first couple of weeks of the year, 10th lowest team ERA in the country at 2.15. Also the 13th best strikeout to walk ratio in the nation. In there for a strike, it's 1-1.
Well, that's good right there. First breaker he threw, he pulls it in the dirt, allows the guy to get third base, shows his confidence. He comes back and goes right back to that same slider and throws it for a strike.
Up the middle, and that's through for a base hit for Stevens. Drives home Petterini and makes it a 2-run game.
Well, Ohio State taking advantage of the error to lead off the inning. Does a good job of staying with the slider. Hits it right back up the middle. We'll get another look of it right here. Set out there in the middle part of the plate. Goes.
Good piece of 2-out hitting for the Buckeyes. Their second 2-out hit this weekend. Bunt put down here by Bussey that shoots foul. Now that was Ohio State's first hit with runners on base in the game. Prior to that, they were 1 for 4 or 0 for 13. Bussey, good swing his last time up. A pull side double over the head of Apodaca. And would later come home to score on an error by Kemp. Swing and a miss on a changeup out of the zone. Bussey expanding his strike zone there, runs the count 0-2.
You know, sometimes you get in a box and you're just in a go mood. I mean, you think you're going to see a strike. He is a strike thrower, and you get geared up a little too much. Do a changeup, as you referred to it, expanded his zone, and he did. A changeup way off the plate. And that's that piece of being a hitter that after something like that happens, you got to blink, breathe, or do something, and then move on to the next pitch.
0-2, swing and a miss on the breaking ball. First strikeout for Davenport. And that's it for the Buckeyes in the top of the 6th. But Ohio State gets a run back. Now a 2-run game as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning from Globe Life Field. Baylor 4, Ohio State 2. Back after this on Flow College. So far, the offense today for Baylor has been the home run ball tie. A couple of 2-run shots for the Bears. Hunter Simmons and Jack Little.
You know, the commonality of both of them is that they're gap homers, not pull side homers. That means the hitters are doing a good job of staying in the middle part of the field. You'll hear coaches say over and over, you know, gap to gap is where you want to approach your barrels to the baseball. And both of them, one opposite field gap, the other one just a hair pull side gap. But two really good-looking swings.
4-2 Bears on top as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Buckeyes now a new pitcher on the mound. It is Hunter Shaw. After Ohio State got 5 innings from starter Chase Harrell. A little more than 5 innings of work so far for Shaw this year. ERA just over 5. 4 strikeouts this season for the Buckeye reliever. He'll face Reebok, Johnson, and Toplansky for the Bears here in the 6th. One ball and 1 strike.
Baylor's in that part of the order. They got back-to-back left-handed hitters, so they're going to go play the odds with Shaw bringing the left-hander in. Third hitter in the innings a switch, but you're playing the left-left matchup. Sometimes you'll do it to make a team decide if they want to keep a guy in the game in the lineup or not, but they're staying with the left on left.
Ground ball to the right side. Petterini handles it for the first out. Shaw, the reliever for the Buckeyes, big, lanky hurler on the mound for Ohio State, 6'4", 190 pounds. A junior, now in his second season in Columbus, made 17 appearances a year ago. Transferred to this Buckeye program from Lansing Community College. And the left-hander delivers a strike to Ty Johnson.
It's a good-looking fastball, good-looking arm. Nice loose action out of the arm. 89 to 92 mile-an-hour fastball. Upper 70s breaker.
A wave and a miss. 1-2 on the breaking ball there from Shaw. The starter Harrell, 5 innings for Ohio State. 4 runs surrendered, 3 of them earned, and struck out 4. Leaving the game with his team down 4-2. That ball hit up the middle for a base hit for Johnson. His second hit today got it just past the glove of Ellis in the center field. Good for a 1-out single.
Well, this is a great piece of hitting. He got him the pitch before on a 73 mile-an-hour breaker. The breaker he'd thrown to him earlier was a little harder at 77. He's like, I'm going to stay on this. Look at him, stay on this breaker, bury his head in behind it. Was looking for something secondary. Smart piece of hitting. Got the breaker he wanted, drove it right back up the middle.
And now the third at-bat of the day for Hunter Toplansky. He's been on once with a walk. This game, one of our doubleheader here from Arlington coming up tonight. Big matchup between Auburn and 9th-ranked Oregon State. Both teams winning yesterday. The Tigers a run rule victory over the Buckeyes, 13-0 in 7. Oregon State held on to beat Baylor 4-3 in the nightcap last night.
That was a fun baseball game. There was a lot of energy from both teams. Great plays defensively, great pitching.
In the case of Auburn, they had that huge crooked inning in the second, 8-run second inning against Ohio State. And how about the pitching from Samuel Dutton yesterday as well for Auburn? 6 scoreless innings with 9 strikeouts.
Talking about a young man that was just comfortable being out there yesterday. I mean, comfortable with all 3 pitches. And he invented another breaker, slower breaker about halfway through the game that they didn't show early. That he brought that weapon out late. And so I looked at it. He was comfortable in his skin and what he was trying to do yesterday on the mound.
The Tigers in the building getting ready for the nightcap against the Beavers. Weekly hit ground ball to the right side. Simpson will tag out to Plansky for out number 2.
Well, he got way out in front of this changeup from Shaw, just clips it off the end of the bat. That baseball's probably got a nice smiley face on it, like what some of my golf balls look like, but catches it off the end with a little bit of spin. At that point in time in your Toplansky, all you're trying to do is just make him come tag you and make sure the runner gets to second base, who's now in scoring position.
Kennett hitless so far, but some good plays defensively today for Baylor. That hits him. Shaw hits Kennett. That'll put a couple of runners on base for Baylor.
Got him in the back of the bicep. He'll take that. Hustle on down to first base.
Free passes were a huge issue for Ohio State against Auburn yesterday. 7 walks, 2 hit batters. As the Tigers piled up 13 runs, taking advantage of those free tickets to first base. Brings up Tyree Kemp. An uncharacteristically rough day for Kemp defensively. 2 errors so far this afternoon. One ball, one strike. Tomorrow's doubleheader, Baylor will take on Auburn. Ohio State will face Oregon State. To wrap things up, the 3rd and final weekend of college baseball to open up the year here from Globe Life Field. Kemp pops up. And it is Jamarusti who calls off Ellis to make the catch. And the Bears strand 2 in the inning. We head to the 7th. Baylor 4, Ohio State 2. Back after this from Globe Life Field. Welcome back to Globe Life Field here in Arlington for the Amegy Bank College Baseball Series presented by Kubota. Game 1 of our doubleheader today. Matchup between the Big Ten and the Big 12. Baylor and Ohio State. Bears on top 4-2 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. The entire weekend right here on Flo College. A great 3 weekends of college baseball. All started with the Shriners Children's College Showdown. Big weekend last weekend with TCU, Kansas State, Michigan, and Arkansas. And the 4 teams this weekend: the Bears, the Buckeyes, the Beavers, and the Tigers. Nick Jamarusti leads off the top of the 7th here for Ohio State.
Yeah, all three weekends. Great teams, great base. I mean, it's just been, I mean, they do such a good job here, and we've said it and documented it so many times about the kind of job that, you know, Rev Entertainment and the Rangers do, and how accommodating and welcoming they are to the fans, the players, coaches, media. And how well they've worked with Flo College and Flo Sports. I mean, it's just been a fun 3 weeks. I know you and I have worked 2 of the weekends. Let's get a good look at this beautiful ballpark.
Swing and a miss. Jamarusti down on strikes. Second strikeout for Davenport, and 1 out here in the 7th.
beautiful view just a second ago, and this is a beautiful slider right here. It's hard to lay off of with 2 strikes because it looks like a strike coming out of his hand. Well, it just starts turning left and running downhill away from that barrel.
Now the 9-hole hitter, Maddox Simpson. And we've also seen some good midweek baseball here in Arlington over the past couple of weeks. Saw Texas State beat Oklahoma State a couple of weeks ago. Big win for Steve Trout's Bobcats. Earlier this week on Wednesday, LSU with a victory over Dallas Baptist. Number 2 ranked team of the country, the LSU Tigers, playing really good baseball right now. On the ground to Little. Over to the bag himself, and now there's 2 outs. In fact, LSU may overtake number 1 next week as top-ranked Texas A&M has lost a couple of games this week.
Yep, the Aggies lost 3 in a row. And you may be right, they could. I got to tell you something real quick. Davenport has absolutely owned the outer half of the plate to the right-handed hitters with fastballs and sliders, change-ups occasional, more change-ups to the left-handed hitters, but a lot of strikes and a lot of ground ball opportunities, mixed swings. Reed's done a really good job of keeping those barrels off balance from Ohio State.
Back at the top of the Buckeyes order to Trey Lipsy, who's been on twice so far this afternoon. Pulls that one foul.
You know what you haven't done since yesterday or today either? You haven't taken us around the ballpark and told us about all the dimensions of this incredible ballpark.
That's true.
And what they mean. And
yeah, we brought this up a couple of weekends ago during the Shriners Children's College Showdown, and you look there, you see 329, 334, the 29 for Adrian Beltre, the 34 for Nolan Ryan. Each of the dimensions has significance here in Arlington. We had a chance to visit with David Murphy last night, talked about some of his great teammates. Well, some of the numbers in the outfield named after or honored in honor of his former teammates. You see the 372 sign out there, that noting the first season ever in Arlington. The 410 sign, the number 10 for the retired jersey number of Michael Young, who was a teammate of David Murphy's on those 2 World Series teams back in 2010 and 2011. As Davenport strikes out Lipsy. 3 strikeouts for the Baylor reliever, and now it's time to stretch in Arlington with the Bears on top 4-2. Now time for today's 7th inning stretch presented by Amegy Bank as we head to the bottom of the 7th from Arlington. Baylor on top 4-2. The Bears a couple of 2-run homers. Their offense so far today, Baylor starter Bryson Bales, 5 strong innings, giving up a single run, in line for the win. Fans having a good time here at Globe Life Field, crashing into one another on the Disney mat race.
I'm sorry. I thought that was funny. I'm sorry. They probably didn't think it was as funny as I did. And I hope nobody got hurt.
First game of our doubleheader today. Auburn, Oregon State is on deck. Coming up for the Bears, top third of the order, Little, Apodaca, and Jordan. Little, a two-run homer to left center's last time up. Here pops up a bunt, handled by Simpson. One pitch and one out for Shaw here in the seventh.
Well, after a homer every once in a while, you want to show your versatility, thinking they're going to be playing back. Tries to push bunt into the triangle on the right side. Just got under it too much.
Here's Apodaca, who's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. He swings the first pitch and fouls it away. You go to dead center field here in Arlington, is 407 feet from home plate. You know, typically it's an even 400, 405, 410. It's usually an even number. In this case, 407, the number 7 for the retired jersey number of Ivan Rodriguez, who also has a statue outside the ballpark here.
Yeah, that guy was a pretty good catcher, by the way. How about his pop times were like 1.6. That's quick.
There's that statue outside of the ballpark. Well, what an honor to have a statue out here along with Nolan Ryan's.
Well, they don't hand those out. I'll tell you what, you're talking about putting on a laser show, throwing a ball from behind the plate. And power. I mean, just an all-around great player.
One-two pitch is low, 2-2. Pud Rodriguez, 12 seasons as a Ranger. Piled up over 2,800 career hits, more than 300 homers, and over 1,300 runs batted in. Did win a World Series with the Marlins in 2003. That ball hit out towards center. Here's Bussey for Ohio State. Puts it away for the second out.
Am I wrong thinking that did I hear this or read this, that Pud Rodriguez was in their minor league system at like 16 years old, 17 years old? Is that right? Or am I making this up?
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Or did somebody make it up and tell me? Whichever one.
Here's Wesley Jordan. You also got a glimpse of the number 42, the backstop. You can see it just to the left of Chris Kosker, plate umpire. There it is for Jackie Robinson, the number retired across all of Major League Baseball. Jordan skies a pop-up. Ellis calling off his teammates. So 1-2-3-7 for Hunter Shaw. 7 innings in the books from Globe Life Field. Baylor on top by a pair. To the 8th inning we go. We're back after this on Flow College. Sports are better on the big screen. Head to your preferred device app store to download the all-new FloSports TV apps for Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, and Chromecast. We head to the 8th. 4-2, Baylor on top. Here the home of the 2023 World Series champion Texas Rangers. This ballpark also hosted last year's Major League Baseball All-Star Game. It's been the home to 2 World Series, the one the Rangers won in 2023 over Arizona, and also the COVID World Series between Tampa Bay and the LA Dodgers. So the home of the Rangers, a lot of big postseason games and a lot of college baseball in between. Globe Life, the home of the Shriners Children's College Showdown the past several seasons, the Amegy Bank College Baseball Series, the Big 12 tournament as well.
Play a lot of high school playoff games in here as well. I mean, they accommodate everybody. This is built for baseball, and they want everybody to experience it. I mean, I honestly, if you want high school teams to come in here and play too, you got artificial surface, right? That helps. Your grass doesn't get beat up. It's great marketing. Get them in here, like come play in here, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, Dad, let's go back there. Man, that was really cool. Let's go back, and again, it's a baseball community in Arlington, led by the Rangers and Rev Entertainment, and they want everybody to experience it and enjoy this venue.
3-1 to Ellis, swing and a miss. Davenport, his 3rd inning of relief for the Bears. Into the game in the 6th inning. Has retired 4 in a row. Until now. Leadoff walk to Ellis. That'll bring up the tying run. A ballpark that seats more than 40,000 opened in July of 2020 in the middle of the COVID pandemic. Talked about those 2 World Series in 2020 and 2023. Last year's All-Star Game and Home Run Derby. One of 7 big league ballparks with a retractable roof. We would have thought today would have been a perfect day to open the roof up. Throw down a second, not in time. Ellis is safe on a stolen base.
Tell you what, that's an aggressive move by Ohio State. Believing in Ellis, who's probably green-lighted, means he's on his own, gets a tremendous jump, looks in, was not a hit and run, just outruns the throw and hangs onto the bag.
Pederini takes a strike.
I got to be honest with you, I thought he balked. I know that Ohio State's group's hollering it too. He started to lean his shoulders down right before he made that move to second base.
That ball drilled to right field. Apodaca's back, and this game is tied. Tyler Pederini with a 2-run shot, and now it's 4-4.
Just like that, one crack at a bat, we got ourselves a tied baseball game. We're going to get another look at this. It looked like a slider running into him, and like a lot of home runs already hit this weekend, he knew it as soon as it left his bat.
Exit velo of more than 108 miles an hour, covering nearly 400 feet. And with the Buckeyes, their first home of the weekend, 10th this season, got a brand new game here in Arlington. Now Justin Hare visiting with Chris Koski.
I don't know if that's about the bat flip. I don't know. I mean, you know, they're warning both sides. Well, they're warning the Ohio State side. It could be heckling. It could be just competing. There's a lot of things. I mean, you've never sat in a dugout. You truly don't know what kind of experience that is. But either way, it's 4-4 in the 8th.
A ball to strike to Gravelin.
Inning started with a tough 3-2 pitch. It was just below the kneecaps for the walk to Ellis, who did a good job of laying off of it. Earned a walk, stole second in an aggressive manner. Down 2 in the 8th. Had a great jump, and then the slider ran into Petterini, and he ran into it.
Leadoff man for the Buckeyes has reached in this game 6 times in 8 innings, and that leadoff runner has now scored 3 times. 2-2. Got him looking for strike 3. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, all else fails for this young man. When he needs to, he can go extension side, first base side of home plate to the right-handed hitters. Just barely clips if he does. Boy, it looks like it's on the edge. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, about an inch or so off the plate. Close enough for the umpire to call it. Down at the bottom part of the strike zone. Quality pitch.
Here's Eckelman. The 1-0 pitch is low. Count runs to 2-0. That ball shot to right field. That's down for a hit for Eckelman. 3 of the first 4 batters of the inning have reached for Ohio State, and the go-ahead run is on base.
Get another look at this. This is a good swing on it. Earns his way to first base. Looks like Baylor's going to stay with Davenport, the right-handed hitter up. Not going to be surprised if Ohio State tries to play hit and run.
Fouled away. Or might be playable. Apodaca, yeah, he's going to have room to make that catch. Tucked into the right field corner. That's good for the second out.
I was with you. I saw what you saw. I thought it might slice out of here and into the bleachers, but Apodaca able to get over there and get underneath it and make the catch. And I think I was with the left-handed hitter up there and the right-handed Davenport. I think we're going to see a new pitcher. We'll see. Coach Thompson's on his way to the mound.
And he's calling for the baseball. That's it for Lucas Davenport. Baylor will go back to its pen in this 4-4 game here in the 8th inning. Stephon Stahl into the game now for the Bears. It's 4-4 in the 8th here from Globe Life Field. We've got a brand new game here at Arlington. Tyler Petterini with a 2-run homer off Lucas Davenport to tie the game at 4. 4-4 game here in the 8th inning. A huge swing by Petterini. And for the Buckeyes, their first homer this weekend. Pitching change here for the Bears. Lucas Davenport now out of the game. Stephon Stahl comes in for Baylor. And again, Ty, what a swing there by Petterini.
It sure was. I mean, caught a breaker running into him, and I said it a minute ago in the same form, and he ran into it. He got a lot of it, and then as you mentioned, I think 108 off the bat, and right at 400 feet, pull side. Those guys know it when they get it, don't they? As soon as they hit it, we've seen about 3 of them, probably about 4 of them this weekend, and dating back to Wednesday as well.
Go-ahead run on base for the Buckeyes. Stahl, the pitcher, 3rd appearance this year. 3 innings of work, has yet to give up a run, and has 3 strikeouts. Throw back to first base, and they pick off Eckelman. So Stahl comes into the game without throwing a pitch, escapes the 8th. A pickoff for the Bears. This will carry us into the bottom of the 8th inning. Eckelman caught leaning and tagged out by Little. We head to the bottom of the 8th from Arlington. Buckeyes, Bears tied at 4. A young Auburn fan getting ready for the nightcap tonight with the Auburn Tigers, getting ready to take on the Oregon State Beavers. Been a great start this season for Auburn. Tigers with their win over the Buckeyes yesterday, now 9-1 of the season. And they have won 8 straight games. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning in a 4-4 game now after the 2-run homer by Tyler Petterini. Hunter Simmons leading off here for the Bears. Takes that pitch inside to even the count. Simmons himself a 2-run homer today. All of Baylor's offense off 2 swings, a couple of 2-run shots from Simmons and from Jack Little.
We talked about this, that it being a tournament, both these teams have lost. So they feel like they're in a, not that they wouldn't be in a battle anyway, even if both of them had won yesterday, but when both have lost, they're trying to figure out a way to get their team the first win in this tournament. So both these teams right now competing. We've got a tie game in the 8th.
The 2-2 towards right field, and that's out of play. Count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Hunter Simmons. Facing Hunter Shaw. Shaw's retired 4 in a row. This is 3rd inning of relief. Came into the game after 5 innings from Chase Harrell, the Buckeye starter, who's now off the hook. Swing and a miss. That's the first strikeout for Shaw. And 1 out here in the 8th.
Looked like a changeup. Then he cut a little bit. Yeah, that thing just the bottom fell out of it. That's a good pitch. I mean, every once in a while you just tip your hat to the pitcher and move on. That was a quality 2-strike pitch.
1 away brings up Pearson Reebok. Doubled earlier in the game.
Yeah, this young man's going to be a good hitter. Going back to last night, watching him hit today, and he new to Division I. I mean, this guy's going to be a really good player, nice player for them, and a nice hitter.
Count now 2-1.
Tell you what, Brent, that's a good take. That's a borderline ball strike. I think it's a ball. I think it's up. But for a young hitter on left-left matchup, that's a really good take.
Takes again and takes his base. A 1-out walk and a go-ahead run on for the Bears.
That's a nice at-bat right there by that young man. Not swinging at the borderline 2-1 elevated fastball that a lot of young hitters would have swung at. And then they come back with another elevated one, and he lets it go, and it's above the strike zone. Maybe he caught a little bit of the corner of it.
And out of the plate, Ty Johnson. Been a good day for him. 2 for 3, a couple of singles. Four runs on 6 hits for Ohio State, 4 on 5 for Baylor. Each team has left 5 runners on. And Johnson now ahead of the count, 2-0. And Gravlin will come out to talk to his pitcher.
You know, baseball coaches, players, some of the most curious people, and they watch and they see everything. And every player, well, not every player, the majority of the players, every coach is watching the third base coach for Baylor. I mean, watching him give signs, just trying to see if he gives away a good look at Jim right there. Just anything, if he looks down at the ground, you know, there's been times we picked signs off of people just because the coach looked at the ground different. And you get into games like this where you got a chance where you may put on a play here and there, everybody starts to watch you.
Walked him on 4 pitches. Back-to-back walks. Puts 2 on for Bears, and now the go-ahead run in scoring position.
But that ball might have been a strike, but the catcher was set up on the other side of the plate, had to reach for it, reach back for it. And a lot of times when you have to do that, umpire, whether you think it's a strike or not, catcher reaches that far, they're going to call it a ball.
Down to the plate, Hunter Toplansky. But before that, a mound visit coming up here for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be surprised if they make a change. I think so. They're going to go with the right matchup, Brand. He walked the 2 left-handers. He had the perfect left-left matchup for him. He knows it too, and they weren't huge misses. But once that happened, then you got to go as a coach. All right, we got a right-hander up. Let's go to the right matchup. Try to get an out, maybe even a double play ball, and it's exactly what they're going to do.
Douglas Bauer into the game now for the Buckeyes. 2 on, 1 out, the bottom of the 8th. In a 4-4 game here from Arlington. Douglas Bauer into the game now for Ohio State, and inherits a tough situation here, tied 2-on, 1 out in a tie game in the 8th inning.
Well, indeed he is. He's walking right into a fire, and I mean, look, this is what your coach gives you the ball. You work hard to get into these moments. You know, you tell your coach, put me in. Put me in, coaches. And these are those moments. I mean, you don't get to pick them. And sometimes they're hairier than others, and this is certainly one that is. Particularly, I mean, if you do give up a run, your team's only got 3 outs to come back and try to do something with it. And so, a big moment for both teams.
Bowery, Texas native from Houston, spent the past couple of years at Tyler Junior College. Not his first year in Columbus, making his 4th appearance of the season. Last time out, pitched last Saturday against Coastal Carolina, went 3 2/3 against the Chanticleers, and gave up 3 earned runs.
Well, I'm sure when he was a young high school player in the great state of Texas, he dreamed of playing in this ballpark. Maybe didn't know it was going to be with Ohio State at that point, right? I mean, there's been a handful to go up to Ohio to play, but now he finds himself right in the middle of it.
Toplansky, a switch hitter, first pitch, turns on one into the corner. Reebok around third base, and Baylor's back on top. Here comes Johnson to the plate. He scores a 2-run double for Toplansky, and Baylor's on top 6-4.
Well, this is a great swing. It's a fastball in. He gets his hands inside of it, drives it down the right field line. That's his ball coming in. Does a good job of keeping that ball fair with his barrel by meaning getting his hands inside of it enough. Both runners are going to score, and then on the
first pitch he saw, Toplansky with a 2-run double. 6-4 Baylor, still just 1 out of the inning. Infield drawn in here for the Buckeyes. Kennett, first pitch, he swings and fouls it away for strike 1.
You know, I wouldn't be totally surprised if Kennett, they put on a squeeze play or a safety squeeze, just trying to find a way to get one more run in. You know, he got a pitch he could handle to get out in the outfield, just was a little behind it and late to it.
Both of the runs in the inning charts to Hunter Shaw. Now 0-2 to Kennett. Fouls off another.
He's doing everything he can, somehow, some way, just to will it, to get the ball into play, to give his Toplansky, the runner at third, a chance to come in and score.
The 0-2 to left field. That's in for a base hit. Kennett drives home Toplansky, and it's 7-4 Baylor.
Well, Bauer would like to have this pitch back. He knows it too. As soon as he let go of it, he knew it. Fastball that ran back into the middle part of the plate on an 0-2 pitch. You got to go. He was trying to elevate Brandt and just cut the middle of the plate, right in the middle. I'll tell you what, good piece of battling right there by Kennett to get the run in. A little extra insurance for the Bears.
Bottom part of the order coming through for Baylor here against Ohio State. And now Kennett takes off for seconds, and he's in safely.
Well, that's a momentum steal. You get on with a base hit, score a run. You gamble right there that they're not going to pay a lot of attention to you. Gets a great jump on the leg kick and steals second base.
Kemp with a ground ball through the right side. Kennett around third. He's coming to the plate, and he's going to score.
I'll tell you what, that is a J.J. Kennett special right there. Gets on, battles and battles. You see a lot of emotion going into the dugout. Watch his teammates. They're going to get him. But that at bat, we got it through there. Then he steals second. And then right in behind him, Kemp drives the ball just out of the reach of the second baseman. He's able to score from second base.
First bat of the inning, Hunter Simmons struck out. After that, a couple of walks and 3 straight base hits. Toplansky, Kennett, and Kemp. All 3 hits, driving in runs, 4 in the inning. For Baylor, breaking this 4-4 tie, now on top 8-4. And Ohio State will head back to the bullpen to Zev Salzberg. Big inning for the Bears, and they're still batting in the 8th. On top 8-4 over Ohio State.
Celebrating 30 meters out.
5,000 meters on the track, ready to roll. Collegiate national lead. In the close there on her inside, but it looks like Shaki could take this front to back. 200-meter final.
Brad Fisher, the American record holder.
This is super Cuban.
But Holloway crossed the line. He's only 3 100s outside the world record.
And back to action here to Arlington. A stolen base for Tyree Kemp at second with Jack Little at the plate. New pitcher into the game is Zev Salzberg for Ohio State. Third pitcher the Buckeyes have used in the inning. And again, Ty, the bottom part of this order really coming through for the Bears. Toplansky, Kennett, Kemp back-to-back hits, driving in 4 runs, and now the crew is meeting in the infield.
Well, they're going to decide. Ohio State second baseman threw his hands up on his ears like he thought that he got him. That's the second time in a row Baylor has run first pitch. And what that tells you, and they are going to go look at it, what that tells you, Brant, is that Baylor's offense has video and thorough scouting reports on the both guys who came into the game relief-wise, because they both ran on the very first pitch. One was a momentum, we just got that run in. Got a great jump, they're not going to pay attention to me, and he was a high leg kick. And then again, this one not quite as high of a leg kick, but a first pitch steal, and that tells you that Baylor's done their homework. Get another glance at the, oh boy, that's, when does he touch it and when does he touch him?
Pederini gets him on that left leg. Did he get there before that left hand got in for Kemp?
He does it. Is that a touch? It looks like it to me, but
You wonder if there'll be enough evidence to overturn this call.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know. I mean, okay, now this is just me suggesting this. By the way Pederini reacted immediately, he went to his ears, so he thinks he touched him. That doesn't mean he did or he didn't, and that doesn't mean they're going to change the call. No, this is going to give us a better. Yeah, I think he touched him. Now, is it enough? Is it because his leg, Petterini's left leg, is in the way of the view? I don't think this one's going to be as quick as the ones we've had so far.
It's our second review of the day.
Hopefully not as long as the one we had watched. Remember, we were sitting after the game last night watching the Aggie game, and that
A&M in Arizona.
Yeah, and that review lasted, seemed like 30 minutes.
A play at third base. All for the play on the field to be upheld. The call on the field to be upheld.
Yeah, by the time they got done, I think I drank my whole beer by the time they finally figured it out. And it was a big moment in the game, right? And they were trying to get it right, which I love. Look, I appreciate that more than you guys will ever know. Every coach in this business appreciates they're doing the best they can do to get it right. Because there's been so many times in our career earlier before we had this tremendous technology to help us and to help the umpires make the right call, to keep the game in line, and to get the calls right. I mean, it's been huge in college baseball to have this type of camera work. And then, of course, you don't always get this type of camera work. I mean, this is professional. This is, you know, about as good as you're going to find.
They're taking a long look at this play.
I told you it wasn't going to be a quick one. I assure you, they're not down there drinking water with their feet propped up, but because they know that they're watching it frame for frame. All right, I see dark blue shirts coming out.
And they're calling him out. They're saying that Petterini got his glove onto that left leg of Kemp's before his hand could reach the base. That's good for the second out here in the 8th inning. So a successful challenge for Ohio State. Swing and a miss by Little. Again, this game was tied at 4 when the half inning began. Reebok and Ty Johnson drew walks, opened the door for the Bears for a 4-run frame. Big base hits from Toplansky, Kennett, and Kemp. This after the Buckeyes tied the game with a Petterini homer in the top of the inning as Little beats out an infield single, and he's on for the second time today.
Well, that was going to be our second Sports Center play of the day. If he comes up with his throw, he ran a long ways, all of his momentum going away from first base. Ellis, I mean, the shortstop, that was just going to be too unbelievable of a play timing-wise, but showed all. I'll tell you what, he showed off his athleticism and his arm in his attempt to make it.
And now the 8th batter of the inning comes up, Enzo Apodaca. That's now 4 straight hits for the Bears. Apodaca pops it up. Gravelin has it for the 3rd and final out. But what an inning for Baylor. The Bears string together 3 straight base scoring hits to break a 4-4 tie. They score 4 times, now on top as we go to the 9th. Baylor 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning, with the bottom part of the order coming through for the Bears to break a 4-4 tie. And now Baylor 3 outs away from his first ever win at Globe Life Field. Bears had a couple of 2-run homers in the middle innings. Buckeyes had a 2-run shot from Tyler Petterini in the top of the 8th to tie the game at 4. But the Baylor scoring 4 times in the bottom of the 8th inning off of big hits from Toplaski, Kennett, and Kemp. And now the bottom part of the order bats for Ohio State here in the 9th.
Well, if you're Baylor, throwing strikes and playing defense is a recipe. And if you're Ohio State, trying to find base runners any way you can, having really long, tough at-bats, trying to find a way to get back in this to either tie it or go ahead.
Two balls to the strike to Reggie Bussey. Stephon Stahl, his second inning of work. Technically, I guess his second, but really his first. In the 8th inning, picked off Eckelman off the base to end the frame. So pitching for the first time here in the 9th. Three-one pitch in there for a strike.
You want to throw it in there. You got to lead. Walks or your enemy. If you're Baylor right now, even if you give up a hit, you got defenders out there to try to catch it. You might hit it right at them, so you want to go right at the strike zone.
Instead of miss, and Bussey's on to start the 9th.
Well, let's see if that was a left-left matchup. Now you got back-to-back right-handed hitters coming up.
The first of which is Nick Jamarusti. Out of the zone for ball 1.
He's going to run out of time.
He does. I think before the clock expired, Kennett calling for a timeout.
Yep. Now Kennett doing a good job of recognizing the clock was winding down. He was having a hard time. Looked like Stahl was having a hard time picking it up on his pitch watch.
The 1-0. Swung on. There's a drive out to left. Wesley Jordan is back. He looks, and that's gone. Nick Jamarusti with a 2-run homer cuts the lead in half. It's 8-6.
I'll tell you what, there is never a bit of quitting these Buckeyes. It's a great at-bat. Leadoff guy takes a tough pitch and a 3-2 pitch to earn a walk. Jamarusti jumps right in the middle. I mean, that ball was on a line and hit where it separates the first and the second deck, and we're going to see a pitching change.
Well, how big are those insurance runs looking right now for Baylor?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, look, you're always trying to get one more.
Baylor again going to the bullpen. Gabe Craig making his way to the mound here for the Bears. Still nobody out in the inning. Maddox Simpson, Trey Lipsy, Lee Ellis due to hit for Ohio State. And after that, Tyler Petterini. Big part of the order coming up for the Buckeyes with a new pitcher on the mound for the Bears. Back after this on Flow College. Two-run game now here, the ninth inning, 8-6. Baylor on top of Gabe Craig into the game now for the Baylor Bears. But moments ago, Nick Jamarusti cut that Baylor lead in half.
Got a fastball up. Again, Baylor just trying to get strikes, right? You got to keep throwing it in there. They'd walk the leadoff guy. Went to a fastball, elevated. Jamarusti did, obviously. Didn't miss it.
Each team with a pair of 2-run homers in the game. And the tying run is on deck here for Ohio State as Gabe Craig comes in now for Baylor, looking for his second save of the year. This is 5th appearance of the season. 4 innings so far with a 2.25 ERA. 4 punch-outs in his 4 innings. And 1 walk. Maddox Simpson called back. The Buckeyes have a pinch hitter up at the plates. It's Zach Freeman. First pitch. And fouls it away for strike 1.
Well, he was hunting a fastball and got it. Got a little too excited, couldn't keep it fair. But he was aggressively waiting for it.
The 0-1. And the air to center. Ty Johnson has room to make the catch for the first out of the inning.
Comes back with another fastball, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Out of the tall 6'5" frame. Ball was hit pretty good, but you know what? You got 9 defenders out there.
Back at the top of the Buckeyes order to Trey Lipsy. 1 away in the 9th in a 2-run game. Ball 1 and a fastball out of the zone.
You know, I think this is the 3rd pitcher we've seen from Tyler Junior College out here this weekend already. Yesterday from Baylor, Murray, and now today, Bauer, and now Craig. I mean, that's it. Look, they've got a lot of great baseball players over there. I think I mentioned it yesterday. Doug Wren, who was the coach a couple years ago, now is the athletic director at Tyler Junior College. They've always had a good program.
Just misses a quarter on the slider. Count runs to 2-1. So many great junior colleges in this state. Tyler, Blinn, McLennan. Just to name a few. That time the breaking ball in the strike zone evens the count at 2-2.
Yeah, and that's a tough, tight little slider. That's an 83, 84-mile-an-hour slider. Not big. Just enough. It's got just enough miss to it if you're not looking for it. And enough vertical break to it. He goes back to it again. Tries to backdoor it that time. I'll tell you what, and he grips and rips it too.
The 2-2. Hits him. And the tying run will come to the plate. Lipsy off for the third time today.
Well, free bases and free passes so far have come back to haunt Baylor with the leadoff walk in the ninth, and now a hit. We'll see what happens here, but it's certainly not what you're, and he wasn't trying to. I mean, he just overcooked that breaker, trying to bury it to his back foot, and just pulled it too far.
The Buckeyes have seen so many teams come back against them early part of the season. Looking about a comeback of their own. Start of the inning down 4, now a 2-run game. Here's Lee Ellis. Strike 1. Popped up, and the air to right. Apodaca near the line, makes a catch, and the Buckeyes are down to their final out. That brings up Tyler Petterini. Last time he was up, got a hold of one for a 2-run homer.
Yeah, slider, he was trying to get down and into him, just hung in the inside part of the plate. You know, but I'm about to say the obvious. He hit it a long ways, and he did. I think now, too, Baylor's defenders, outfield-wise, going to go back into no doubles. And what I mean by that, they're going to press their outfielders deeper. And a little bit of power in here. First baseman, they'll tell him easy off. And what that means, Brent, is the first baseman who's holding the runner, they'll tell him just to come off easy and hold the line, in case he catches a slider in and hooks it down the line for a double, which he represents the tying run. And that ball was off the plate.
Called a strike. On the ground to the right side, gloved by Little to the bag to end the game, and Baylor holds on to beat Ohio State 8-6.
Well, I'm going to tell you what Baylor just did. They just won a game by their defensive move. They took their first baseman off from holding him, and he's telling you he was going to be easy off. That time they took him off the bag, put it behind the runner, and that was why he was able to easily go over and defend that ground ball and end the game for Baylor.
A game with a lot of swings back and forth. And this one saw Baylor take a 4-1 lead. Ohio State battled back to tie it. Baylor, though, with that big 8th inning.
Look, two teams just battling and battling. They both had lost the game last night. We talked about that early in the game. It's rare you get two teams that have lost the game this early. It's usually in series. And both of them are just, I mean, punch for punch for punch. And, I mean, it was like a heavyweight battle. Those guys were out there. Nobody wanted to lose today. You got a total commitment of competition from both of these teams this afternoon.
The first ever win for the Bears here at Globe Life Field. And what a start for Mitch Thompson's team. They're now 8-2 this season.
It is a great start. I mean, look, and yes, they wanted to come into this tournament and play well. They ran into a really good Oregon State team last night, and pitching-wise on Friday night, and they needed for them to come out and win today. They did a good job. They hung in there. They extended that lead in the 8th inning, and you're right, that was huge.
And now we go down to the field. We're joined by today's player of the game, Hunter Toplansky. For the Baylor Bears, a huge hit in the 8th inning. At the time, Hunter, the game was tied 4-4. You hit a 2-run double. Take us back to that at-bat.
Yeah, I mean, new pitcher on the mound. You know, Dylan, our first base coach, came up to me and said, you know, be ready for the fastball. And if it's not a fastball, swing over it and get to the next pitch. So I was lucky to get that one and put a good swing on it.
Yeah, tell us, you guys are off to a hot start. One of your better starts in the last couple of years at Baylor. Tell us about your team and the personality of it.
Yeah, it's been really fun. You know, I've been here the past 2 years watching this team grow, and we returned a lot of guys and we added a few key pieces. So I think it's really fun to watch the lineup roll 1 through 9 and then watch everybody that goes on out there on the mound compete.
A team with a lot of experience includes yourself, Hunter. This is your 98th career start at Baylor. What has your time as a Baylor Bear meant to you?
Oh, it's been a blessing for sure. I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know, coming in here as a sophomore, it's been nothing but a blessing, and I can't thank the people around me enough for it.
Well, Hunter, thank you so much, and congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I got our player of the game, Hunter Toplansky, with that big 2-run double to break a 4-4 tie in the 8th inning as Baylor holds on to win 8-6 over Ohio State. What a way to start this doubleheader of baseball in Arlington.
Yeah, I mean, it was a battle. I loved it. I mean, both teams just competing. Unfortunately, somebody's got to lose that game. And Baylor coming through in the 8th inning, Brand, with the 4-run, extended it, and it turned out they needed to. But power was the name of the game today in the first game, and we got a great one coming up right after this one.
We do. Coming up next, the nightcap to our doubleheader, 9th-ranked Oregon State against Auburn coming up on Flow College. Until then, for Ty Harrington, I'm Brant Freeman, saying once again the final score, Baylor 8, Ohio State 6. The Bears improved to 8-2, while the Buckeyes fall to 1-7 on the season. More baseball coming up here at Flow College between the Beavers and the Tigers. We'll see you shortly here from Globe Life Field in Arlington.